yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Make the Yuletide gay. From now on, our troubles will be miles away. Here we are as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more.
All right, so you just saw the breakdown of Jacob Collier and Tori Kelly's approach to Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. So now we're going to dive into the breakdown of it, and we're covering three essential concepts that you can pull from their crazy harmonic approach and kind of add to your own plan. All right, so with a song like this, it's great to learn it note for note, yes, to learn it all the way through. And if you want to do that, we're actually dropping a Christmas Gone Gospel Masterclass. It releases on November 8th, 2022. All right, and you can check that out if you want to see the full breakdown. That's where the full breakdown for this video is going to be. But in this video, I just want to give you three concepts, okay? When you understand, I think, the context of chords, changes, of movements, and then when you understand the concepts, you're really able to apply it to your own playing. So let's dive into it. Concept number one is going to be the use of a pedal point, all right? So like as soon as the song starts off, they do something like this. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Or actually, all right, so the very first thing that I saw when learning this, when analyzing this, that we can apply to our playing is the use of pedal points. So pedal points is just when you pretty much have one note sustaining in the bass over multiple chords going on in your right hand, right? So your bass is gonna hold on to one note while your right hand is playing different chords over that one bass note. So in the beginning, we have, the song is in F major. So we have an F pedal point, right? And we're gonna play like just an F major chord. Right? So we can play this. This will be the first chord voicing. And then we're gonna extend that. So we're gonna go from like a basic F major triad almost, or I guess this is not a triad since you got the two in there. But we have this really simple open F major voicing. Then we're going to like a F major 9 voicing, a little bit extended. Then we're going to, that's the one. This 1, 1. Then we're going to the 4/1, all right? Which is a B flat major. We're in F major, so 1, 2, 3, 4. B flat is the 4 chord, but we're keeping the 1 in the bass, all right? So I like that sound. And then we're gonna go to, we're gonna go to the 5. So have yourself a merry little Christmas. And then we're gonna do another pedal point based off of the 5. So the 5 is gonna have, we're gonna do 5 sus, 5 suspended. And then we're gonna resolve it to the 1, but we're keeping the 5 in the bass. All right. So have yourself a merry little Christmas. So 5, 1. Okay. And this is still the 1 chord, even if I'm not playing the F, just looking at it as a 1 chord. So you can voice it like this, or kind of like a extend it. This would be like an F major 9 voicing over that 5. Merry little Christmas. And then we're going to extend it. We're going to go from F major to like an F major 9. Still with the 5 in the bass. And then we go to like this. I'm kind of looking at this as like the 6th chord. I see this as the 6th chord. And it sounds like the 6th chord to me, the way it's functioning. So we're essentially going to play like the 6th chord as a flat 9. All right, so 1 over 5. 1 extended over 5. 6 over 5. And then we're going to do a suspended chord. 5 sus. Okay? And so that series of pedal points just sounds really amazing. And I think the subtleness of the way the chords change, because it's not a complete change, meaning your root note isn't changing. It's just the harmony, the upper harmony that's changing. I think it sounds top notch, real beautiful. All right. So have yourself 1 extended, 4 over 1, a merry little Christmas, 5 sus, 1 over 5, 1 extended over 5, 6 over 5, 5 sus, and then we move on. All right, so that's the first concept that you can take away from this. And if you really want to make sure you understand these things, I think it's good to apply it to a different song, a different situation, so that we make sure we grasp these ideas. So let's look at Silent Night, another Christmas song, all right? And we'll keep it in the same key. So we'll do Silent Night, right? Holy night, all is gone, all is bright. Oh. Okay, so we got that. Now, that's how we would probably normally play Silent Night, but if we wanted to add this pedal point concept, let's try just playing this progression over like the 5 of F, okay? So we'll do Silent Night, Holy Night, all is calm, all is bright. So we could do like that first part of the verse all over C. So how do we make this work? Just chose the 5 to kind of experiment with, right, and see if it sounds good. And so the regular chord progression would be like 1 sigh. We're gonna put the C in the bass. So Silent Night, and then normally we do sigh 5 1. So I'm just gonna play that 1 over 5, 4 over 5, back to the 1, 5 1 over 5, 4 over 5, 1 over 5. And then let's keep going. We can do like 6 over 5, which is, I'm playing like I'm thinking in my head, D dominant with a flat 9, which is really like a C diminished 7 chord voicing. You can play C diminished 7 over D to get you a 6 chord with a flat 9, right? So I'm gonna play this still in my right hand, but just put it over the 5. Right, so it's Holy Night. And then we're gonna go to the 2, all G minor. So 2 over 5, all is gone. And we could even do that. That's funky right there. Because now I'm going to the 3. So 2 is calm. I'm thinking 3 to the 6. That's a normal progression. So we're playing that, but just with the 5 in the bass. So 2 is calm to the 6 is bright. Okay, so that's another way that we could apply this pedal point concept to other songs. So take that, run with that, experiment with it, and then let's jump into concept number 2. So concept number 2 is going to be inner voicing movements. And one place that really stood out where Jacob Collier uses this in his vocal harmony is towards the middle of the of Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, his take. So we'll just play through it and I'll stop when we get there. Okay, so we'll start from what is it? From now on. From now on. So right here. Here we are, as in olden days, olden days. All right, so we'll take that right there. So we have, actually it's, here we are, something like that. Here we are, as in olden days, olden days. Okay, so right there, what's happening is we're landing on the 4, right? Here we are, as in olden days, the big olden days to yours. All right, so we're landing on the 4. But instead of just playing the 4 straight up, what we can do, and what Jacob does, is something like, he hits, it kind of sounds like an E flat diminished 7 chord. E flat diminished 7 over the 4, which really gives us our, this is like the 4, the sharp 5, and this is of B flat. So the 4 of B flat, the sharp 5 of B flat, the 7th, major 7th of B flat, and the 9th of B flat. So if we made this a major chord, we're altering our major chord. So we're adding the 4th, kind of making it suspended, and the sharp 5. Okay, so this is something that you'll hear gospel and jazz musicians do a lot, is they'll resolve like a augmented major chord. So we can do that, something like that. Here we are. We can do something like that. But we can just take it a step further and add in the 4 to add some extra tension and grit. And then we get something like that. Here we are. And then he takes it a step further by changing the chord voicing again and making it like a 13, kind of like 6/9 voicing, something like that, to take us to the 3. Okay, so here we are, as in olden days. So we're not even moving from the 4. All of this is over the 4 chord, but we have like 3 different voicings. So it sounds like our playing is still moving. Our harmony is still changing, even though we're not necessarily moving our bass note. Here we are, as in olden days. Okay, so that's concept number 2. We can use inner voicing movements, meaning the outside of our chord, the root note, doesn't necessarily change, but we're changing the harmony within the chord that we're playing. Okay. All right, so that's concept number 2. Let's dive into concept number 3. So concept number 3 is going to be chromaticism. And chromaticism just means we're going to be walking either up or down using chromatic movements to pass from chord to chord. So we can do this a bunch of different ways, but we'll look at a couple quick examples, okay? So the first example, let's just start from the top. All right, so let's just take that much. So we gotta have yourself a merry little Christmas. Da, 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 right? Da, ba, 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 ba. From, so here's what we want to pay attention to. From now on. All right, so we're walking it down from 1, 7, 6, and then when we get to the 6, we really just want to get to the 4. From now on, your troubles will be mine, right? Our troubles. So we're trying to get to the 4. But what we do is 1, 7, 6, flat 6, 5, 4. So all we're going to do is throw in from the 6, we're going to the 1/5. So we're going to throw in a chromatic pass, which is going to be a D flat dominant chord. right? So D flat dominant can take us to a half step below, which is F over C, to the B flat, all right? So that's one way we can use chromaticism. Let's look at another example that they use. So we'll just keep going through and then we'll stop when we see another example of chromaticism. From now on. All right, so we got an example right here. We got have yourself a merry little, all that good stuff. So have yourself a merry. So that whole movement is a chromatic movement. What are we doing? What are we doing? We got 5 over 4, 1 over 3. This is like a flat 3. We're playing that as a minor chord. And this passes us to the 2. All right, so we created a chromatic movement first off by putting the 5 over the 4. So this is like a dominant chord, but instead of having the root in the bass, we put the flat 7 in the bass. Okay, so we got 5 over 4. That walks us down into the 3. So we're moving diatonically at this point. All right, we're just moving down the scale, the major scale. But then we hit this chord, which isn't in the key of F. So why does this work? This works because we're going to a 2 chord, which is minor, right? So since we're playing this 2 chord, one of the rules of like chromatic movements just tells us that we can approach any chord. So in this case, a minor chord. We can approach a minor chord from another minor chord a half step below or above. So something you'll hear a lot is in jazz and gospel is you can lock in one chord quality, right? So in this case, if we're going to a minor chord, we're trying to get to the 2 chord, we can start anywhere really and walk down chromatically to get to our target chord, or we can walk up chromatically. All right, so they do that, Jacob Collier does that, but we're just taking it from a half step. Flat 3, the minor third to the 2, okay? So have yourself a merry little Christmas. Okay? And then that's that chromatic movement. There's a bunch of examples in this song breakdown, but that's all I'm gonna go over here for this video. Just wanted to give you some quick examples that you can look at to see. So before we end this lesson, let's look at applying that chromaticism to another song just to make sure we lock it in and we understand this completely, okay? So we're gonna jump back into Silent Night again, and we'll see if we can apply it to Silent Night. So we got Silent Night. Maybe we do something like that. So we do Silent Night. Right? We got 1, 5, 1, and then we could do like a 7, 3, 6. Holy night. We could do 6, 2, 5, 1, and then the song goes to like the 2. Okay. So if that's our regular progression, how can we make that chromatic? How can we add chromaticism to that progression? So we could do 1, 5, 1. We said we'll do 7, 3, 6, right? But instead of 7, 3, 6, why don't we do 7? Instead of 3, we'll walk it down a half step to make it chromatic. Flat 7, 6. And then from there we do 6, 2, 5, 1, right? But instead of doing that, we'll do 6, flat 6. We'll walk it down chromatically. 5, flat 5. And then we're gonna go to the 4 actually to keep the chromaticism. So we got Silent Night, 7, chromatic, 6, 6, chromatic, 5, chromatic, 4. All right. So that's a completely chromatic movement, meaning we're just walking it down in half steps, okay? So the harmony, One silent night. 7. All right. 7. We're gonna do like a dominant chord. So 7, 3, 6. Holy. And let's do 6, flat 6. We'll do dominant. Make it dominant. 5 minor, dominant pass, and actually let's do 6, flat 6, 5, flat 5, and then we'll do like 2/4, because technically I think in the regular chord progression it's like a 2 minor chord that we would play there, so we'll still keep it as like a 2 chord in the harmony, but we'll just put the B flat, the 4 in the bass. Okay, so that way we're keeping the harmony that the song calls for. We're not going too crazy as far as changing the chords and the progressions or changing the chords, but we're still getting our chromatic movement in the bass. Okay, so that's how we would add it. Silent night, holy night, all right, and that's how we can add chromaticism to another song as well. So when you're learning something like this, it's great to learn songs, like advanced approaches to songs, reharms to songs, learning them note for note first. But after you learn it note for note, try to understand conceptually what musicians, what vocalists are doing, and apply it to other songs so you can really solidify your understanding. All right. So like I said, if you want the full breakdown of this song, it's going to be in our Christmas Gone Gospel Masterclass, which releases November 8th, 2022. So pretty much by the time you all see this, by the time this is up, it should be available or available in the next 24 hours. Okay. So I hope you got something from this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see any other breakdowns, comment below, let me know, link the video, all that good stuff. All right. I will see y'all in the very next lesson. Have a blessed day.